Welcome back, unless you're seeing me for the first time, in which case, welcome to my humble channel. I do recaps after every Atlanta Dream game. I hope you like it and I hope you stick around. Dream win an intense one, 92-81 over the New York Liberty in overtime. Let's talk about this game. Huge news right before the game. Tiffany Hayes is finally not on the injury report. Vaughn and Coffey are the only ones, and Vaughn is probable. Hayes is back and she's starting, so I can finally break out the old school colors just like I said I would do during my first few videos. Early on, it's a defensive battle. The first scores of the game have come on free throws. Monique Billings first, then Sabrina Ionescu. 3.5 minutes in, we have our first basket from the field, a three-pointer from Marina Johannes. Not long after that, who else but Tiffany Hayes? She scores her first points of the season, a three-pointer. It's just so great to have her back in the lineup. Howard and McDonald finally have the solid veteran support that they need. Over halfway through the first quarter, Howard and Hayes have 6 of the Dream's 8 points. Both teams are missing some shots early on, but that would definitely change as the quarter goes by. Howard, McDonald, Parker, and Billings would all connect for threes. Billings with 2 consecutive threes to stay with the Liberty. They would start to pull away, but only just by a little. 18-13 after 1, Liberty lead. Having Wheeler and Wallace back in the lineup has been excellent for Atlanta's play on the perimeter. 9 Dream players have scored. Billings leads with 6. Now, the second quarter starts with Hayes being called for her second foul of the game, so it might take a little bit of time to shake off some of that rust. And I know New York hasn't played in 6 days, but Tip hasn't played at all up until now. But she's a vet. This ain't her first rodeo. I think she'll be just fine. Atlanta takes the lead in the second, going 6 for 10 halfway through the quarter, but it comes at a cost. This was a very physical game, and both teams are paying for it with fouls. Both teams enter the bonus before this quarter is half over. Christy Wallace is really on one this quarter, just taking the points lead with 7, then becomes the first player on either team to reach double-digit points, in addition to a steal and a block, and being perfect at the free throw line. Atlanta is also just killing it in second chance baskets, 9-1 at this point. Ionescu is not happy with a turnover being called. A missed shot comes down, and Wallace just grazes the ball just before it goes out of bounds. The officials gave Atlanta the ball, but Sabrina is pretty damn pissed off at it, and you know what? I kind of agree with her here. A touch is a touch, and Wallace did touch the ball last, but what can you do? Thanks largely to Christy Wallace, the Dream lead at the half 41-36. 10 Dream players have at least 2 points. Wallace not only has 10 points, but she's also plus 10. Howard has only 1 basket and Hayes has 2. You see what happens when you get good depth? And not to mention defense. New York is just having a pretty bad night against Atlanta's defense. I think Liberty actually had more turnovers than Atlanta at this point. Not sure how long it's been since Atlanta didn't lead in turnovers. Now, the Dream are just taking complete control of the game in the third quarter. In their zone, they just cannot be knocked off the ball in the paint. Whether they make the shots or miss, they're going to make plays that they want on the inside. Throughout the first 3 quarters, Atlanta leads in paint points 30-16. Natasha Howard gets called for her third foul of the game halfway through the third, and as I wrote that, Kia Vaughn gets an offensive foul. Sabrina Ionescu takes a little bit of a stumble, lands on her knees, and still directs traffic and makes the pass. The Dream are really smothering New York's offense, but Ionescu is still going to make them work for it, even if she can't do it standing up. Atlanta goes on a 6-0 run. Billings gets a steal and converts on the play. Wheeler gets the and one, and then Vaughn. 11-point lead. Vaughn took some time to warm up, but now she's really starting to work it out there. Maybe just a little bit too much. She picked up her second offensive foul of the quarter. Ari McDonald, perfect at the free throw line. For the entire game, she was actually 6 for 6, and a hell of a stat we saw at the end of the third. The Dream have 29 points off the bench, and New York has 9. Dee Richards fouls Ryan Howard, and once again, Ionescu is not pleased. Howard gets both free throws. Ionescu can't convert on the next possession. McDonald gets the board, and Hayes slips right through the Liberty's defense to make the 2. Ionescu is really, really mad tonight. She's getting flustered on offense, and she elbows the crap out of Ari McDonald while trying to make a play. It looked like Chris Jericho's finisher. 61-48 after 3, Dream lead. Now, some back and forth action to start the fourth period, and Hayes goes down with an injury. She was going after an offensive rebound and just got boxed out, so she fell backward and hit her head on the floor. She stayed down for a few minutes, but she got back up and walked off under her own power, but then she went to the back, and the general thinking was that she might be done for the night. New York took advantage and went on a 7-0 run, almost all of which was because of Stephanie Dolson. She got 9 points for so far that quarter. Ionescu and Natasha Howard are really helping her figure out Atlanta's defense. Now we have ourselves a game. Dee Richards brings the Liberty to within 3. Atlanta has only 2 points this quarter so far. Fortunately, right around that time is when Tiffany Hayes finally came back. A huge collective sigh of relief from Dream fans. Ionescu starts turning up the pressure, drawing fouls, and extending the run to 12-0. Richards gives the Liberty their first lead since early in the second quarter with 2 free throws. Ionescu goes down once again, standing on her knees, and once again she makes the pass, this time to Sammy Whitcomb to bring the run to 17-0. Atlanta hadn't scored in over 4 minutes, and as great as Dee Richards had been, she fouled out with 4:30 left in the game. Cheyenne Parker finally, mercifully, ends the run with a 3-pointer from the corner. Hayes gets a big 3-pointer to close the gap to 3 points. She was so instrumental in keeping this game as close as it was through the closing minutes of the fourth. It was basically all Dolson and Hayes for a few minutes there. 15 seconds left in the fourth. Liberty lead by 1. Free throws by both teams. Dream down by 3 until Wheeler does what she's done better than just about anybody else this season, hits the buzzer beater. She ties the game with a 3-pointer. We're going to overtime, 79 all. And who the hell else but Tiffany Hayes to start overtime with 2 straight 3-pointers? Hayes and Wheeler would pretty much dominate overtime. Atlanta would outscore New York 13-2 in overtime. Dream win 92-81. Tiffany Hayes, in her first game back, led all Atlanta players with 21 points. Wallace, Howard, and Wheeler have 10. McDonald and Billings had 9. Exactly the kind of win the Dream needed. I have to keep reminding myself that it's a rebuilding year, but that doesn't mean that the Dream can't have an outstanding game here and there. We all knew Hayes' presence would only help for a number of reasons, and now we have our first taste of it. The next taste is coming Sunday, an early game with the Seattle Storm visiting. It'll take some time for me to get that recap up. It's a work day, I work late, but it will definitely be there. I'll see you then.